Oh, hello guys, my name is Jack, and today we're going to be doing a tier list for one of my favorite childhood games, Marble Blast Gold, eh? So here, we're going to rank all the beginner levels in accordance to how good they are from S tier to D tier, and we're going to start from the very start, eh? So here we go in chronological order, with learning to roll. Oh, now this has such a soft spot in my heart for me, so I just gotta give it a C tier at the very least, even though it's a very basic level and only teaches you WASD and stuff. So we'll keep it at C tier, and let's move on to the next one, eh? With collect the gems. Oh, now I do think this is also a pretty basic level. It does introduce like the mechanic of collecting gems that you have to get before you finish a level. But I also think this level is kind of plain, eh? It doesn't really have that unique curvature that the learning to roll level has. So I gotta put it in D tier, even though it introduces a vital mechanic. It is actually kind of a plain and boring level, eh? Now next, we got jump training. Now I think jump training is really fun actually. The level has a really nice color palette, and you got that nice ramp in the middle, or with the directional chevrons that teach you to go in that direction upwards, eh? Sometimes you may even fall off if you're like a real beginner, so I gotta put it in B tier because it's kind of fun. Although obviously as we move on to like more complicated levels, they'll definitely be populating more of the S and A tiers. But as far as fun goes, for such a short level such as this, yeah, I think it gets a B tier. Okay, next we're gonna go on to learn the super jump. Now it introduces you to power-ups in this level. And the super jump, it's such a classic power-up of basically any video game, especially platformers, eh? And I do like how the movement goes, where it boosts you right up into the air, and it takes you to a whole new place, eh? So it's pretty fun. I think I will give this a B tier too, eh? Next up, we got platform training, where you hop on the platform and it takes you from one end to the other. But that's kind of boring, eh? So I'll just leave it in C tier. Okay, next, we got learn the super speed. Now this was a real fun level too. You just kind of choo across the map, eh? And it goes right across, and sometimes you'll overshoot and fall off the map. But that's pretty okay, eh? Because you had fun, didn't you? Except for the 50 times I had to do it once. That was not quite funny, but that was back when I was a little Jack, and little Jack was a dumb little kid, so he couldn't play video games very well. But anyway, I'll leave this in, probably B tier, eh? Because I like flying across. Next, we have elevator, where it teaches you the mechanics of a moving platform that goes up and down vertically. Now it's a pretty neat mechanic that will definitely come to be pretty useful in the later levels. But I do kind of hate this blockhead level design, so it's going down in D here, eh? Down in D tier, this blockhead. Okay, after elevator, we have air movement, which is once again kind of a blocky level, and it's a pretty simple one, eh? You do not have the recoil dampening thing with the shock absorber, so when you hit the ground, you bet your little butt you're gonna be bouncing around all over the place, eh? And I kinda don't like that feeling. But I hate the level design even more, so it goes down into a D tier. And not because it's a blockhead, okay? Because it's a blockhead, okay? I just don't like the blockhead levels, eh? Okay, next, we're gonna go choose the gyrocopter one. Now this has the potential to be one of the coolest power-ups in the game, as it can take you and fly you everywhere. As long as you don't expire the time limit, eh? But then again, you kind of do just fall the whole time while you're using it anyway, so it's not like overpowered or anything. But anyway, I think it's a really cool concept of a power-up, but the level itself is actually pretty classic, eh? So we'll just leave it in C tier, since it's a pretty standard level to teach you how to do stuff. It's not really exciting or anything, but the power-ups are a little exciting. And then next, we got, I think this is the time trial, eh? There's a time trial in the middle, and you gotta collect it, so you gotta qualify. And once you collect the time trial, then it'll stop the clock, and by the time you get to the finish, if you don't do some stupid shit, then you can actually qualify. So that's a pretty neat mechanic, but then again, it's basically just a straight line, eh? So nothing too exciting, and you get a C tier. And next we have the super bounce. or you can bounce around quite well, eh? Again, another really fun power up, where you go boing boing up and down with a whole bunch of recoil, and without any shock absorbers, you're going to be bouncing all over the place, eh? So again, pretty fun, but then again pretty standard, but it can also be pretty hard if you're a dumb little boy like when I was back then, or I was pretty bad at games, so I kind of had to try this level a lot of times, eh? So I'll give it a C tier as well. It's pretty nice, but it's nothing revolutionary, eh? And then we have the gravity helix. Oh, now speaking of revolutions, this takes you 360 degrees around, eh? Oh, I'm telling you, I didn't set that pun up. It just came to me, eh? Because I was talking about revolutions, and I don't even know the context by which I was talking about it before. But then again, it makes for a pretty neat pun, so I'm just going to be happy with it, eh? Again, I totally did not set that up. It actually came naturally to me. So believe me, okay? And for this, we're just going to leave it in B tier, because I think the whole revolutionary 360 side of things is actually pretty cool. Okay, next. Oh, it's a block level. It's going down in D. Oh, just kidding. It's actually an okay level. It teaches you a thing or two about shock absorbers. But it does have that shitty little thing in the middle, and I don't like that. And I don't like block levels, eh? So we'll just leave it in D tier. Okay, next. Oh, we got there and back again, where you gotta control your speed so you don't fall off the map with that little black and yellow caution thingy at the end. So I think it does teach you a little thing or two about having to slow down to collect gems, so you control yourself. It does teach you a little about self-restraint as well, which is pretty cool. Or you know what, even though it's a straight level, I'll leave it in B tier as well. Again, none of the levels so far have been particularly complicated, and that's really the point of all these beginner levels, so I'm mostly just ranking them from my personal enjoyment, eh? Okay, next. Oh, we got the Marble Materials Lab. Oh, now this is a fun up and down roller coaster. Well, not really, eh? Because there's an actual roller coaster that comes on later on. But here, we got the Marble Materials Lab that has the mud stuff, the grass textures, and the space parts. A couple of those really make your friction loosen up, and one of them, tightens it up, eh? So I had plenty of fun experimenting with the different floor textures, and it's definitely one of the more diverse, eh? One of the more diverse levels in the beginner roster so far, so I'll leave it an A tier. Oh shit, it's a jump scare level. Now here's when little Jack learnt about his first jump scare. Oh, he got so scared when his little ball touched one of those things, eh? The marble, eh? The marble touched like the bumper on the very edge, and it just kind of pinged him off the map, eh? Oh, it was a scary moment for little Jack, and he got so frightened he had to leave the room for 12 minutes. But anyway, I'm a big boy now, and I'm not afraid of the marbles, eh? Oh, my cousin's a little ass about it still. He still talks shit to me about it for being a little crybaby, but then again he doesn't have a wife, eh? So anyway, I'll just leave it in B tier, because it's nice and exciting. Just like this next level. Oh, it's the breezeway level, eh? It'll blow you to the left and right before you can get to the end. But that makes getting to the end all the more satisfying, eh? Oh, true. So, but I do kind of hate the level design of it, because you really don't have much control when you're getting blown by these two fans and getting pulled both ways, left and right. Oh, but then you're getting pushed, eh? So that's true, and you do have the few bumpers on the sides to keep you from falling off. But then again, it's not entirely an enjoyable level experience for me, so I just kind of put it in C tier, eh? Alright, next we got the minefield level. And I do like explosions in games and going boom in games, so I like blowing myself up too. And the walls on the sides of the level do stop me from going and taking a dive down into the waters deep below. So it's a pretty fun level, even though it shares basically the same structure as the very first level, learning to row, eh? But because of the spice that is added to it, the wars and the mines, getting blown up is enough to go a whole tier higher, eh? So we'll chuck it in B tier. Okay, next we got what is probably one of the quickest levels in the game, the trapdoors level. It feels a little boring with checkerboard trapdoors and normal floor tile, but then again, it doesn't really matter because you can just W key and get to the finish, eh? So while it is a pretty fun level to go across, it is also pretty basic, and because of that, I'm gonna leave it in C tier, eh? Alright, now, here we go with the whole tornado bowl level, and this is where the levels in the beginner section do start to get a little bit bigger and complicated, eh? But then again, none of these are really entirely complicated, apart from maybe the last one to some folks. But here we're talking about the tornado bowl, and it's got a lot of potential for time saving, or what with all the time travels on the side, and that little part at the end where you can jump over the thing instead of going through the tunnel. So just for that, I think I'll leave it as an A tier, eh? All that being said, it may be pretty good as far as beginner levels go, but when it comes to intermediate and stuff, or some of the intermediate levels just kinda stomp on the same. Okay, and next we got pitfalls, or it's kinda like a beginner winding road, or upward spiral, eh? Yeah, upward spiral, that's what I meant to say, because it's got like the pitfalls in it and you go upwards. Oh, but it's blue, eh, so does it even really count? Because both upward spiral and whirl are like super yellow levels. So anyway, we'll probably put this level, or probably in the B tier, eh? The pitfalls are a little bit exciting, but they're nothing too much to get my panties in a bunch. Not that I wear panties, eh? I wear underwear, like a normal guy. Okay, next, we got platform party. Oh, that's right. So it's basically the same level as that original platform one, but with a whole more steps into it. Just kind of copied and pasted up and down. And you got some vertical or diagonal platforms in here. So it's kind of a neat trick as well. But then again, it doesn't really add too much excitement to the mix, so I'm going to leave it in C tier too. Or next, we got Winding Road. Now this is the one I mistook for that other one earlier, but this one, I think it's pretty unique and exciting for the fact that there's that really nice shortcut with the super jump that you can do, and you can go right to the finish from there, eh? So I like doing that, and I'm going to put it in A tier just because of it. And it does teach you a few other things as well, or what with the ramps and everything. You got the gyrocopter section in the end if you so choose to go that path. Alright, and now we are down to the grand finale, eh? Now this level is like basically a perfect cap up to the end of the beginner levels and everything, because it teaches you to utilize basically everything of what you've learned so far, eh? And it really is a test of everything that has been encompassed in all the previous levels. So because of that, I'm probably gonna put it in the S tier as far as beginner levels go. Again, there will be more complex levels in the future. This one isn't particularly difficult, but it can be if you're like a super newbie like that little idiot Jack. Oh, he was an idiot boy, eh? But then again, he didn't have a wife like I do now, who he can cry to when he loses a Marble Blast Gold level. Oh, but I don't really cry that much anymore because I'm all grown up, eh? Okay, so there you have it. That's my tier list from S to D tier, just for the Marble Blast Gold beginner levels, eh? I hope you enjoyed it, and I wish you all a very good one, eh? And I'll see you in the next one.